evening and welcome to the June 4th, 2025 school board meeting, open session at 6 p.m. Can I get a motion to resume open session?
I'd like to make a motion to open the open session at 6 p.m.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, agenda item 1.03, review of closed session agenda items.
The board met in closed session under General Provisions, Article 3-305. B1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. B7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice, and B8, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation.
Thank you. 2.01, approval of agenda. Did everybody have a chance to review the agenda? Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the June 4th, 2025 agenda as presented?
I would like to make a motion to approve the June 4th, to approve the
May 7th.
May 7th agenda as presented.
Oh, no, we got it.
Sorry, where am I?
That's June 4th. June 4th.
June 4th.
Oh, sorry. I would like to make a motion to approve the June 4th, 2025 agenda as presented.
Thanks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That was
Do
2.2
2.02 and 2.03, approval of minutes for May 7th, 2025, closed session, approval of minutes for the May 7th, 2025 open session. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the May 7th closed session minutes as presented.
And
May open
And
session, and May
open
7th.
session.
Oh, and May 7th open session.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
2.04, approval of minutes from the May 20th, 2025 closed session. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the May 20th closed session minutes.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. So 2.05, interim superintendent appointment. So have a little speech here prepared so I don't mess anything up. So the board would like to announce the appointment of Dr. Matthew Kibler as interim superintendent of Queen Anne's County Public Schools starting July 1st, 2025. Dr. Kibler currently serves as our assistant superintendent and has worked for the district for 4 years to include various positions and worn many hats, including director of accountability and implementation, overseeing the blueprint and filling it in various positions again when he is needed. Prior to Queen Anne's County, he has worked for 9 years at Washington College, and he began his career as a high school math teacher. Dr. Kibler and his wife, Bryn, live in Queen Anne's County, where both of their sons attend our public schools. So please help me in congratulating our appointment of Dr. Kibler. Yeah, pending the vote. So we're gonna do the vote and then we can get up and take pictures once we're finished. Did anybody want to say anything before we vote?
I will say something either
Okay.
before or after the vote, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to thank the Board of Education first for putting your trust in me to hold this position. I look forward to continuing to work with you all and build on the strong relationship we've established already. I do want to thank my family for being here, for all their love and support. And then just kind of moving on, I want to say to Queen Anne's County Public Schools, we have incredible students doing great things here in our schools, whether that's the classroom, the field, or on the stage. We are extremely fortunate to have dedicated and amazing teachers, staff, administrators, as well as a positive and supportive community. I'm excited and ready to continue working together with everyone, with all stakeholders for our students' continued success. And I thank you again for the opportunity to hold this position.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Dr. Matthew Kibler as interim superintendent beginning July 1st, 2025?
I would like to make a motion. Where are you reading
I just said it.
Oh, okay. I would like to make a motion to appoint Dr. Kibler as interim superintendent starting July 1st of 2025.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can get up and take some pictures. Everybody likes taking pictures.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Versus students, so we usually
Right.
find them with us and then.
So we've got a lot of people, thankfully.
We'll step out for a second.
This is Sam, this is Jack, and this is my wife Brenda.
Great, you guys in. Fourth? First. No pressure, right?
I really owe it to them because they're both missing baseball for us today.
Oh, my gosh.
So thank you very much for that.
I don't think they knew that.
You know what, the fields are closed. Great.
Ready? Yep. Good.
Why don't you guys get
Yeah, I was
some
gonna
for
say,
yourselves? Oh, yeah, let's get out of the way. Andrew, you're doing great.
Great, moving on, 3.01, board involvement. Who would like to go first?
Me.
Okay.
I want to say congratulations to the class of 2025 for both Queen Anne's County High School as well as Kent Island High School. It was amazing. It's the first time I've ever been at a graduation ceremony, being on the other side of it, and it was amazing to see all the students and the families and how the schools put it together. It was a great day for us as the board to get to do our first graduation, at least for me. But that was what I got to do this month. It's been, what they call it, May-Cember, where it's the end of the year and all the big things with the kids, but it was great.
We're looking at you.
Okay. All right. Usually. What did I do this month? I went to Stevensville to the spring fling, lots of activities. Always enjoy watching the students versus the faculty kickball games. Anyway, and also the National Junior Honor Society induction there. I went to the May legislative meeting. It was virtual, so it was kind of easy. And there's a reminder that the conference is October 20th and 21st, just so, anyway, registration's open. Went to the Kent Island High School Innovation Night, Project Lead the Way. It was really cool. Amazing, like the students put together all these presentations on like curing cancer and all these mechanisms and all kinds of really neat stuff. I went to the commissioner's budget meetings. Sorry, I'm being extra here. At the Kent Island Library and the Liberty Building. And then President Bent went to Sudlersville. So it was the quietest commissioners meetings ever because they're so wonderful and giving us all the money we needed this year. Well, not all, but a lot. So, went to the state superintendent's roundtable here, the firefighter EMS graduation. And then tonight went to the retirement ceremony, and congratulations on your retirement, Dr. Salins. And everyone else that was at the retirement ceremony. But,
Thank you. I would like to congratulate all the graduates of 2025, all the retirees of 2025. I hope everybody enjoys the next chapter of their life.
So I'll second what they all said with congratulating class of 2025. It was an awesome experience, especially at Queen Anne's, being able to have the privilege to shake hands with the students and give them their diplomas. That was a real treat. I look forward to doing that every year. It is an awesome experience. And congratulations everybody that's retired. Thank you for your service and your support to our school district and everything you've done for us in this county and for the students. I attended the liaison meeting with the commissioners and had a couple meetings with the commissioners and hashing some things out. And other than that,
Thank you. All right, 3.02, our superintendent, Dr. Salins.
Yes. So first I want to congratulate our graduates as well and thank all of those that were involved to make graduations as wonderful as they were. And for the first time in my career, I'm very proud to say that both of our high schools graduated 100% of their students who started as seniors in 2025, and those who came through as a transfer. Never seen that before. Very proud of that. And a total of 292 graduates at Queen Anne's County High School and a total of 272 graduates at Kent Island High School. This is literally an amazing feat. Thank you to the leadership of John Schreckengoss and Dan Harding, the principals, for their leadership. Truly incredible. So kudos and congratulations again.
That deserves a round of applause.
Yes, it does.
Everybody.
Second, as this officially marks my last formal board meeting in my 33-year career with only one little work session to go, I wanted to share some comments as I will be officially retiring as of June 30th. My retirement brings a heart full of total gratitude. It has been the honor of a lifetime to serve alongside such dedicated and compassionate individuals in our community. Together, we've faced a lot of challenges, we've celebrated a lot of accomplishments, but most importantly, we have worked tirelessly to give our students the opportunity to grow and learn and thrive. The impact that we've made is not just measured in academic success, but in the lives that we've touched, the futures that we've helped to shape. And when I arrived in Queen Anne's County, our community was very challenged with COVID. As a whole, we needed to heal. And we have done exactly that, and we are now stronger than we ever were before. With the support of our board, our leadership team, our staff, and our community, we built a strategic plan that has kept us on course of continued success every year, i.e. 100% of our seniors walking across that stage. We have so much to celebrate with academic excellence. We have our blue ribbon schools, we have 2 purple schools, we have 14 green schools, 100%. Our focus has been on developing our CTE programming, our career coaches, our expansion of pre-K, and the investment in the science of reading, which has paid off significantly. Our expanded support services for both our staff and our students for their overall well-being as part of our strategic plan, and the development of some really true partnerships within our community. And for all of these things, I am just so grateful, more than proud, and thankful to be a part of that journey. So though this is closing one chapter for me, I will always carry the spirit of this community and a very deep belief in the power of public education. So thank you for your continued support. I know that you will continue to support as we move forward, that shared commitment to our students. So thank you again.
Thank you. .01 Citizen Participation and Public Comment. We ask all speakers to keep in mind the following guidelines. Speakers should sign the roster, including their telephone number and address. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes in length. Comments longer than 3 minutes should be submitted in writing. Statements to the board should relate to a matter of general policy over which this board has authority. Comments about the actions or statements of individual members are not appropriate for public comment and should be referred to the superintendent of schools or the board president. If you have specific questions, the board will make sure an appropriate staff member responds to your question. The board respects your desire and right to convey your message freely, but asks as a courtesy to this board and our citizens that you show respect for all. First on the list, Richard McNeil.
Good evening, and Richard McNeil representing myself in the retirement group. I want to start off by thanking Dr. Salins and for inviting me to say a few words to that group, and we look forward to extending even to yourself. So on that part, so thank you. And you know, like anything that's going on, it takes somebody behind it. Now, I know Renee did a lot behind the scenes to get it together. And having been a former high school principal, I know what it's like to get graduation set up. And so I want to thank Sid and his group for getting all the chairs and everything. Sid, you just need to work on the weather. You need to be in charge of that a little better. So we'll work on that. And Dr. Salins, thank you for your service and enjoy whatever you're going to do after this. It doesn't go. The retirement group gave out 2 scholarships. We'd just like to recognize those young ladies. From Kent Island, it's Cassidy McElroy, and from Queen Anne's, it's Elisa Crossley. And we will be recognizing them at our luncheon this coming Wednesday again. And 2 wonderful ladies who wrote an enjoyable letter introducing themselves to us for that. So each one of those will get $2,000 towards their schooling. I know that doesn't sound like much, but for retirees to contribute, that's more than anything else. One of the things that I'd like to just recognize at the end here, our CTE programs are some of the best in the state, and some of the folks have been recognized nationally for some of the students who have completed certifications and so forth. And without question, we need academics in the real world, but we also need those who are trained in skills that I can't do. Plumbing and electrician and carpentry and building homes and so forth. And I know that a lot of money is spent in colleges for some folks who come out and they can't do anything. And yet CTE programs prepare our young folks to be apprentices almost right away. And in some cases, they've already passed certain levels of certification. So I'd like to just recognize those as we close out the year. Last thing, you all have a real challenge in my mind in terms of what Linda McClan, Secretary of Education, seems to be doing by holding off money to the states and so forth. And this past 2 weeks in my spare time, I've been watching hearings on the Senate floor, specifically with her. And sometimes I'm not sure she really knows what in the heck she's doing. They're dropping grants and holding up money for states for programs that have already been appropriated for funds to keep things going, and she's holding all of this up. As we go forward through the summer and we look at next year, my message is, bless you. And as another one coming in, Matt, I appreciate what you're doing on that. So thank you for your service, and have a great summer.
Thank you.
I might see you in July. Thank you, I'm done.
Gotcha.
All right, next on the list is Amanda D'Onofrio.
Hello.
Hello.
Congratulations, Dr. Kibler.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing what you do. Okay, so if I could get this thing facing the right way. As we move forward and look for a new superintendent, I believe it's important to look back and determine where we can improve. Attending numerous meetings, I have seen time and again parents and teachers asking for transparency and accountability. And I strongly question the ability of the board to meet these demands based on their responses or lack thereof. Unanswered emails, for example. From an administrator trip to Disney while teachers and support staff is worried about their job, to a new Board of Education building while students are learning in trailers, many facilities need improvement, and the need for a new middle school, the responses have not been appropriate to the context of the budget and the shortfalls we are experiencing. When met with questions and concerns, I have seen very little accountability, even more highlighted given the recent ethics concerns. When asked about a new board building being built for the community, we've been told that the county commissioners gave those funds specifically for that, and the furniture contract as well, and also that people don't understand how capital budgets work. But what I do understand is that no one gives money to someone for a project of that scale without it being requested. And with the challenges the board said they faced getting county commissioners to help alleviate the budget deficit, I would be absolutely floored if they had just decided to give funding for the new Board of Education building without being asked for it specifically and having some idea of the scope of the project. which screams to me lack of transparency and condescending to citizens asking legitimate questions about their tax dollars and the priorities of the board. The ethics panel findings were not surprising. However, it is not enough to have additional ethics training. If my 6- and 8-year-old are expected to show accountability at school, I expect absolutely no less from the board and the superintendent. No one is perfect and we all make mistakes, but it is important to take responsibility and ownership of our actions. Moving forward, I hope that we can find a superintendent that will lead us forward, not using command and control style leadership, but by following a trust and inspire style of leadership that is not challenged by questions. I cannot say that patience is a virtue I possess, but persistence I have in spades. So I ask the board to step up and do their best in holding themselves and each other accountable. Remember that silence in the face of ethical violations is unacceptable for people serving the public. We need to do better. And because I need to be inspired to trust that the Board of Education is prioritizing the children and teachers in this community the way that they need to be, there needs to be a turnaround, and it needs to start with new leadership.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to give public comment that didn't sign up? All right, you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
After you do it, your hand went up first.
Ladies first.
And I should say, beauty before age. You're very sweet. So, just an ad lib. You're very kind, thank you, because I don't really know what I'm going to say, so just. So, I am Cecilia Mitchell, and I'm the president of QACEA. This is my last board meeting as president of the association, so I want to say thank you to you all, and hoping that the new superintendent and all that follow will continue the tradition we have of our monthly meetings with our leadership and your leadership. We were very relieved that we didn't have any job loss this year, to say the least. Relieved is probably not the right word. But recognizing the challenges are not going to go away. The workloads are unsustainable, and to be sure that we still have those kids walking across those graduation stages, we need to be sure that they are resourced as early as possible. As an elementary teacher, that would obviously be my focus. But I want to say thank you. It has been the rarest and most wonderful privilege to be here and fight the fight and agree and move things forward. So I wish you all well and thank you for everything. And let's go public schools. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more ladies? No? Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Kuhl. I'm a 10th grade student at Ken Island High School, and I see Dr. Rankin is behind me. Yeah. I've been in the Queen Anne's County public schooling system since 2014, and every year since then, we've had teachers talk to us like, we got to be respectful of the materials because it's coming out of our own pockets, you know. And so that's kind of an issue that I've internalized for a while, you know, being in the school system. And I think the root of that problem is the MOI stipend. And for the uninitiated, it stands for Materials of Instruction. So to see the extent of the problem, I emailed every elementary school teacher in the county from pre-K through 5. In total, 50 responded to the poll. And in this poll, all 50 said that they have to spend money out of their own pocket on materials for the classroom over the year. And over the year, they said that 92% said that they have to spend more than $100 out of their own pocket on materials. As one teacher I talked to put it, when a pro baseball player breaks their bat, their team pays for them to get a new bat. You shouldn't have to pay to do your job. You should be given the resources you need. And I think we're doing a good job of it, but I think we could stand to raise it a little bit. Yeah, so no amount of money is insignificant. I mean, even $100 could be significant in helping those new teachers that might need to pay more for it, or if, you know, they have families at home to feed. Yeah. So a couple solutions I had. One idea was raising the MOI stipend for all teachers in QACPS by $100. which could help to alleviate this issue. Accounting for taxes, as well as the amount of teachers we have, that would cost around $90,000 to $100,000, which is a significant sum of money, but it would show the commitment that we have in QACPS to our teachers. And yeah, but it would be very simple and broad to implement, but it would be difficult to find that in the budget. Another possible solution would be to give a stipend directly to each school, which could allow them to dole it out to their teachers as they need. And so this would probably be doled out based off of how many students they have in total and how many Title I students they have, so as to give it to the students and schools that need it the most, for it to be need-based. So these solutions, just suggestions. I mean, you don't have to take them. I mean, the main point of it is just introducing the problem. And yeah, I hope that together we can strive to continue to better our grade schooling system. And I congratulate you on getting appointed as interim superintendent. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Anybody else? No? Okay. Moving on to the current board action items. So first up, we have 5.01, the Human Resources Report. Can I get a motion to approve the June 4th, 2025 HR report as presented?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the June 4th, 2025 Human Resources Report as presented.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then we're gonna get up and take some
Yeah,
pictures.
Wonderful. So board, thank you very much for approving that. In doing so, you now have approved our new Centerville Middle School principal, Dr. Stacy Rankin. If she'll please come forward. For some pictures. Thank you so much. Ready? You go first. So nice seeing young kids.
Right, next up, we have 5.02, iReady Reading Assessments, K through 8, presented by Bridget Passon.
Good evening, Vice President Capes, members of the board, Dr. Salins, members of the executive team. Congratulations, Dr. Kibler. We'll miss you in C&I. You've been a great support to us this year, but I'm thrilled for you and your next step, and we'll continue to support you as best we can in your new role. Thank you. Okay, so I actually have the next three items. The first two are just business as usual, my annual pleas for funding to continue with materials of instruction. The first one, 5.02, is for our iReady reading assessments. We give these in grades K through 8, 3 times a year. And so the annual cost to have access to those assessments and additional materials that we use in small group instruction to either enrich students or bolster students who need some additional support is $35,510.40.
Anybody have any questions? No? Can we get a motion, please?
I would like to make a motion for the board to approve the purchase of iReady Reading Assessment digital licenses from Curriculum Associates in the amount of $35,510.40 in order to support improved literacy in grades K through 8.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you. Okay, item 5.03 is for our high school materials. So for all high school English classes, English 9 through 12 or English 1 through 4, for their digital licenses and consumables. We are currently on a year-to-year contract. Our 6-year contract with Savas expired about 4 years ago. We are in line to go for a new adoption eventually, but I believe I'm behind a couple other contents. So my request here is for materials to fund licenses and consumables for students in all English classes at both high schools next year. And the total for both high schools is $98,490.70.
As an annual?
Yes. It doesn't get the deep discounts that that if we're on contract it gets, so.
Ninth grade didn't have licenses, is that like on the line items? Like every other
Ken
grade?
Islands,
So I didn't know if that needed to
So,
have it. Does it work out somewhere?
yes, it does. So
Okay.
they have leftover consumables, so I always have to order a weird number.
Okay.
So the first line is where they bundle the consumable and the license for like an automatic need, and then there's a second line if needed. It's not on the Ken Island one. Let me check the Queen Anne's one. So it says consumable and 1-year digital courseware license. They're bundled together.
Okay.
They're not separate line items unless I had a wonky number, like if I have leftover consumables in one grade, then I only need to get so many licenses and not consumables. So it does all come out in the wash.
All right.
Yes.
Gotcha. Just making sure.
The coordinators, the English coordinators fill out this big spreadsheet of what's left and what they need, and then that's what I send to our rep, to our Savas rep.
Question.
Yes.
You said that we don't get the discount because we don't have a contract.
Yeah.
Correct. So have we looked into getting a contract that's gonna be 3-4 years? I'm not sure how perishable it becomes or.
So we have this working document that's a fiscal forecasting, and all content supervisors have put on, what's gone to year and what we need to pilot and adopt to a contract. So high school, I'm in line. I don't know where I stand in the line. I think I'm like third or fourth to enter into piloting new materials and adopting a new product.
So if I can help with this
Please
one.
do.
So what we're trying to do is get into these contracts as much as possible. I think in the district in general, in years past, it's been kind of what money do we have left over at the end of the year that we can go ahead and buy some materials. We're trying to make sure that this kind of stuff, this is actually fiscal year 26 purchasing you're authorizing tonight. So we're trying to get into that. So like the next item, Ms. Passon did a great job with the company and is getting us into an 8-year contract.
6 year.
I'm
6
sorry.
year with HMH.
Chemistry that's later is 8 years, sorry.
Yes.
But a
Fundamental.
6-year contract, which is, it will reduce, what did you say, $30,000 per year?
It'll reduce by half.
Yes. So we're trying to get there, we just can't do them all
Makes
at
sense.
once.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wish we could.
Any other questions? No? Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve the purchase of the digital licenses and consumable textbooks from My Perspectives, published by Savas, in the amount of $98,490.70 in order to support Tier 1 English instruction in grades 9 through 12.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, the last item for me tonight is item 5.04. So this is for all new materials for our English language arts classes in the middle schools, grades 6 through 8. You met the teacher, some of the teachers who piloted at our last meeting. We celebrated them and we talked about the vote and I presented on the vote. So we were able to secure with HMH a 6-year contract for a total cost of $324,229.45. So where this kind of works out is it's about $55,000 a year over the course of the next 6 years. When we were on a year-to-year with our prior materials, we were paying close to $120,000 on that year-to-year. So this reduces our cost by more than half by entering into a 6-year contract, and they deep discount a contract of that length. Our companies right now are typically rolling out 3, 5, and 6-year contracts. As a supervisor and in thinking of the best interest of our teachers, I prefer the 6-year. It takes about 3 years to get super comfortable with materials. And then the next 3 years can just be enriching and refining. We also are likely to have middle school teachers who have more than one prep, more than one grade level. And like the young man who spoke was talking about, this series just has so many resources that they can use. They don't have to go looking for by. It is very resource rich. So we're really excited about this new product pending adoption.
And the $100,000 a year was like 2025? It was as of recently as,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
we've worked really hard as a CNI team this year to try to with Mr. Watkins as well, see what we're spending in our materials of instruction, get ideas of what we have to have, what we can do without. I mean, part of that $750,000 we talked about eliminating from the budget was really tightening our belts in the CNI world and just trying to make sure we're doing the best we can with every dollar that we can get our hands on for our students.
I did have a question about, so out of the 14, about 57% voted to go with this. Was there any reasoning on the people who voted this way as opposed to the other ways, like why they like this better than the other ones, or what was some of the feedback for the people who maybe voted another way?
Yep, so I can certainly share that. They had to give their rationale. I think I had 3 vote for Common Lit and 2 vote for, what was my other? It was the My Perspectives product. So that's 5 and 8, that's 13. I can't remember where the third vote fell. The Common Lit folks the folks who liked Common Lit, which is all online. It's all online, and every lesson tends to be a little repetitive in format, but the content changes. They liked that, and they liked that in terms of planning. What got difficult with Common Lit is that Common Lit, because it's purely online, kind of goes against the science of learning, which we all learned when we were in undergrad and is now coming back out, where kids need access. Yes, they need to learn how to navigate software, but they also need tangible resources to mark up and line up. So from a planning perspective and a resource perspective, they liked that everything was online. And then I only had 2 who liked the other product, and I can't remember what that was, but I'm happy to share it with you. I have a Google survey with all their rationales as
Thank
well.
you.
Yep.
Sounds good. Anybody else have anything? No? Do we have a motion?
I would like to make a motion for the board to approve the purchase of a new series, Intro Literature, published by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt.
Harcourt. Yep.
Harcourt, for all English language arts classes in grades 6 to 8 in the amount of $328,009.45.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. So next up, we have Michael Bell with 5.05, policy approval for policy 623, media materials of instruction selection.
Good evening, Vice President Capes, Dr. Salins, board members, and executive team. Congratulations again, Dr. Kibler.
Thank you.
For the record, I'm Michael Bell, Supervisor of Visual and Performing Arts, School Library Media, Non-Publics, Title IV Part A, and MSD Fine Arts Grants. Tonight's the 3rd read of Policy 623, Media Materials Selection. There have been no public comments, and I respectfully ask the board to consider a motion to approve Policy 623. If there's any questions.
Any questions? No? Do we have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve policy 623, subject to final edits for format and style.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, we have Josh Combs up next with 5.06, purchase approval for student Chromebooks. Stay up here for a while.
No problem. Good evening, board. Dr. Salins. For the record, my name is Josh Combs. I'm the technology supervisor here. My first item for tonight is, as you said, the purchase approval for student Chromebooks. We're looking into purchasing 600 Chromebooks for grades 1 through 4. Be used as learners replacements. They're all out of warranty as of this year. So normally we would like to replace them all, but we're going to try to phase these in and see if we can keep those programs going by buying 600, and which is about a quarter of what they are. I included for you guys to see an example of like some prices comparison with that model and a 4-year warranty across other contracts. The one we're looking at, we're got 31% off list price if anybody's interested, and what kind of discount we're getting. Any questions about that?
I have a question.
Yes.
On average, how long will these Chromebooks last before they go out of warranty?
We try to do a replacement cycle every 4 years, which is
Okay.
pretty common for the state.
So the ones that are out of warranty now, do we get rid of them or do they still stay in the cycle?
For the 1 through, yes, normally we would use them as long as we have OS support.
Okay.
Because you gotta have the updates in order to run testing. And Chrome updates, which have whatever 6 weeks, they last a certain amount of time, 5 to 8 years, kind of like an iPad. Once you reach the end of life there, they're bricked at that point. You can't do anything with them.
So the computers that you have now that are out of warranty, what is
We will
the-
continue using those.
Okay.
We will continue to use those,
Okay.
yes. These will be there to replace, additions, just to keep 1 through 4, 100% kits running all for next year and hopefully longer.
Anybody else have anything? No? Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve the purchase of 600 Dell Chromebooks through the reseller Data Networks in the amount of $246,000.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
5.07, Josh
Okay.
again.
Yep. My next item is the approval for the purchase of 670 string wireless access points. This is being done through a federal program, E-rate, what's it called, USAC. Basically, they are kind of like a grant application. We get bids, as you see here, we list the bids, and based on our Title I status, they pay a portion of the total amount. In this case, they're gonna pay 70% of the total purchase. So they're paying 347,000 some change. We only have to cover 30%.
I'll say that sounds great to me. That's something we need, and
Anybody else have anything? No? Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of 670 Extreme AP 4000 wireless access points through Data Networks, Fiscal Impact, $148,740, budget source FY 2026 capital funds.
I second that.
All those in favor?
My next approval item is for school server replacements. This would be for all the schools. It's a twofold project. We're replacing all the hardware. We ran these as far as long as the warranty could go for, which is about 8 years. So there's replace physical hardware and be moving to a different virtual machine software, which in the long run will save us money instead of having buying VMware. The reason why we're, everybody in the school system trying to switch out is Broadcom bought VMware, and they switched the pricing model, and us smaller folks, they're increasing our cost about 150%, up to 150%. So it's becoming almost unobtainable in order to keep with that product. So we have another way of going, and so that's what we would like to do. And this will include converting everything over and setting all that up. And the hardware, as you can see, I included that we got a 43% savings on the list price off our hardware based on our meat contract.
I did have a question on the contract. It
Yes.
says March of 2017 through March 14th of 2026. Is that because it was piggybacked off somebody else's contract, or?
The
is
meat
it-
contract,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a long term, it's like a 5-year term, and it's like year 1, year 2, year 3. So it's you're looking at the,
Yeah, it says on page, it would be page 3 of 3. Where it says quote summary. If you look under the contract for MEEC hardware, it says contract term 3/15/17 to 3/14.
it's the same number. If you look that up, it's now 26 to
Okay.
another 5 years.
It'll
That
be
was the
5
end
years.
of, yeah, that was the end of this contract. We just started a whole new round of contract. There's a whole Amic website, and you can see the current contract. It's the same number. They just didn't update the years on it.
so this is one at each school and
Yes.
then the board office?
Yeah, we have many servers at the school, but they all run off of one physical box, physical hardware box, and we might have like 5 servers running on that one physical box at every school.
Anybody else have anything? No? We get a motion?
I would like to make, or can I get a motion to approve the purchase of Dell servers and contracted services through Data Networks? Fiscal impact, $228,585, budget source FY 2026 capital funds.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next one is our Microsoft renewal. This is one we do every year. Again, provides licensing for our servers, our client devices, anything using, Windows or Office. This is actually a 1.7 decrease from last year. We have a little bit less users this year, so it's by user count. Again, I listed example prices across contracts across the U.S. so you can compare our price versus other contract prices throughout the U.S.
Anybody have any questions?
I wish I did. This is just above my head, like the technology stuff.
We basically need this to do the server thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm
need
looking for
this in
you
order
to
do the
tell me
server
what
thing.
we need.
So I need both.
Okay.
They're just as
Fair
important to me.
So we shouldn't turn down this one.
Fair
This would be a problem.
Okay. All
can
right,
we
sounds
get
like
a-
he knows what he's talking about.
Can we get a motion?
I would like to request a motion for the board to approve the MEEC Microsoft EES agreement year 3, term August 1, 2025 to July 31st, 2026 to Bell Technologics for $78,058.08.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, we're almost there. Next one for me is the Power School SIS, the student information system. That's parent portal, Power Teacher, the office side of Power School. It includes our main support, which is basically software updates. They do our backups for us and that kind of thing. I got a list downstairs that or down below that kind of gives you an example of everything that they provide for us. This is about a 7% increase from last year's, which is what we roughly always see with software license agreements. Any questions on this one?
I see that it's a sole source.
Yes, Power
purchase.
School is direct. There is no reseller. You buy direct from them.
Anybody else? Nope.
This is everything, our student information system.
This is everything. This is
like-
grades. This is discipline. This is demographics.
You've been using Power School for years, right? Yeah.
Yes, a while.
Okay.
09, I think, 2009.
Say 20 years.
Can we get a motion?
I would like to make a motion for the board to approve the purchase of Power School SIS, MES, CMS, and MNS contract for 1 year, August 1st, 2025 to July 31st, 2026, in the amount of $65,300.90.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Last one for me. This is for our Lightspeed internet content filtering. So this is, a thing that students probably don't like as much. But this is where it prevents you from going to certain sites and allowing just educational content and blocking others. Controls that you can only go into our Google domain and things like that. We've probably been using this 10 plus years. Again, this one has about an 8% increase from last year. I did include, again, a price comparison across the board between our meat contract and other vendors. And theirs was about 26% cheaper than the next available price. I need this one too.
I was gonna say, this one seems important.
Can we get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve the purchase of the Lightspeed internet content filter subscription through the reseller Data Networks for $61,380 for the term of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
I second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Combs is
Great.
expensive.
Next up, we have 5.12, educational specifications for Centerville Middle School by Mr. Barricle.
Right. Good evening, Vice President Capes, board members, executive team, Superintendent Salins. For the record, my name is Darryl Barraclough. I'm the Supervisor of Facilities and Design. Presenting with me tonight are
Jeremy Klein, WGM Architects.
Matt Kibler.
Okay, to give you a little bit of background, WGM was retained to help QACPS navigate the EdSpec process. They are also engaged in the feasibility study, which is the next phase of the design process. Tonight, we're presenting the educational specification, or EdSpec for short, for Centerville Middle School. The EdSpec serves as the initial program document for the education and facility needs for the schools. Before going into what the EdSpec will provide, one of the things I would like to point out is that the EdSpec will not get into some of the design parameters of the school. It won't get into whether it's going to be a renovation of the existing facility, or whether the facility will be in another location, or whether the facility will be a replacement school, or any of those kind of topics, whether it's 2-story, 1-story, 3-story. None of those topics are going to be brought about in the EdSpec process. This is a very programmatic document. Those types of discussions and decisions will be vetted all through the feasibility study. So that's kind of the next step that we'll be going into. And then again, it will be a presentation made to the board at a later time. So some of the things that the EdSpec will provide, they will provide a rationale for the project. This section will provide justification to the state and the county as to why this project is needed. The EdSpec provides one of the many pieces necessary for the state to financially support the project. The document restates and memorializes the educational goals of Queen Anne's County Public Schools and that of Centerville Middle School. The EdSpec also gets into the specifics of the spatial requirements for instructional and support spaces throughout the facility, adjacency of those spaces, and where they are required for optimal operation of the school. It also provides information on the various types of materials, equipment, technology, furniture, and staffing needs for the school. If you think of baking a cake, the EdSpecs are much like the recipe, providing the necessary ingredients, how to bring those ingredients together and make the cake. A few key points to point out about the EdSpecs. Direct your attention to page 3. Right here, page 3 gets into the enrollment numbers, and the state looks currently at the state looks at current enrollment numbers. They do not allow enrollment projections to play a role in the size or justification of a school. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jeremy and let him talk a little bit about some of the numbers there.
So the point that they only fund based on current enrollment is very important, because they won't allow projected enrollment when they're determining the state funds that they will apply to the project. Enrollments in Queen Anne's County have been pretty flat lately, so that doesn't make a huge difference up or down. The current enrollment in Centerville Middle School for grades 6 through 8 is 501 students. The magic number when the state is talking about educational facilities is called state rated capacity, or SRC. So the state maintains a database that has every school in the state, and that database lists that magic number. This is the SRC of the school. If you look at Centerville Middle School right now, the SRC in the state database is 659 students. So the current enrollment is 501. The SRC is 659. They said that building currently can hold 659 students, according to the state. What that means is that as the state funds based on SRC and current enrollment, so they would essentially, right now, based on an enrollment of 501, fund approximately 75% of existing Centerville Middle School. And Dr. Kibler can talk about some ideas to approach that.
Sure. So one thing we've approached the board about, told the community about, I don't think it's come back up since we've had the 3 new seated board members, but to meet the requirements of the blueprint, and specifically Pillar 1, with the expansion of full-day pre-K in the district, and more specifically having to grow our full-day 3-year-old program as well as the 4-year-old program. Really, here in Centerville, if anybody, you've been in the building, we are bursting at the seams at Centerville Middle School. So one thing that we've thought about through this process is going to more of the Sudlersville Middle School model, where we would take 5th grade from Kennard Elementary School, put them at the new Centerville Middle School so we can hit that SRC. 2nd grade from CES would move to Kennard, so that'd be a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then we would have pre-K, kindergarten, and 1st grade at CES. And what that would allow us to do here is really get the funding for this project at Centerville Middle School, but also save the state and the district money by not having to do a major renovation at Centerville Elementary School, where we have to renovate and make more classrooms and make that school larger. So this would allow us to do it all in one project. Sorry if I started going into somebody else.
You're fine.
So if we did get to the SRC, they would fund it 100%? Or what's that percent?
So the funding formula from the state is specifically based on SRC for that school. And again, it's current enrollment. So it's literally X amount of dollars per student for an SRC. And it's a little bit of a sliding scale depending on whether you're talking about an elementary school, a middle school, or a high school, and a little bit of a sliding scale depending on the size of the school that you're talking about, right? Is it a 300-person school? Is it a 900-person school? That dollar figure per student will slide based on that. But it's a pretty basic formula from that standpoint. So right now, if Centerville Middle School was submitted to the state as a project for 6th through 8th graders, based on current enrollment, it would fund basically 75% of what the school is now. It would be funding a smaller building. Whether it was a renovation, whether it was a new building, whatever it would be, it's X amount of dollars based on that SRC. When the district has a need to accommodate some of the younger grades in these lower programs, the idea was made, okay, if the 5th graders move over there, that's a higher SRC, that's additional funding dollars from the state for that project.
But it wouldn't cover everything.
Just to be clear, when we talk about 75% or 100%, we're talking about square footage or area of the building. We're not talking about percentage of the dollar amount. Which, yeah, so when it comes to state funding, we're still funded at 50% state, 50% local. So if it's a $40 million project, the county would be responsible for 20 million, that the state would be funding the other 50% at the same $20 million.
But the 5th grade number gets us to the SRC of the current building. Correct.
So you said Centerville Middle is busting at the seams?
Centerville Elementary,
He
sorry.
meant
I
to say- he
misspoke.
did say that. but he
Okay,
meant
I
to
was like,
say
if we're
it, yeah.
150 under, okay, all right.
Meant to
That
say
was,
Centerville Elementary School.
Thank you.
But,
Thanks for
um,
correcting me now.
so, I mean, moving 5th grade to middle school is big, isn't it? Yeah, okay, that's like, I mean, moving 6th graders a number of years ago. Okay,
It's what's happening at Sudlersville Middle School.
Yeah, we do it at Sellersville, and I mean, they all
Oh,
have their,
really?
wings. I don't
Oh,
know
so they
how
have a
that
separate area, 5th
They're
and
already
6th?
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
When they built that building, they did that. So Churchill Elementary School and Sellersville
so is the
Elementary
plan
School
to
only go
eventually move
4th grade
all
right
of
now.
them, you think?
I don't know. It really depends on the
necessarily
square
based
footage
on
of the
need.
schools and where the need is. Right now, our need is that Centerville Elementary School can't possibly grow their pre-K because they don't have the space to do that. So this would eliminate that. And our capital projects are based on a wealth formula, and that's why it's 50-50. That's not the same in every other district. Some districts are funded at an 80-20 or a 40-60, but based on our wealth calculation, our commissioners are typically expected to pay about 50% of any of those projects.
It's just some young kids on the bus with middle schoolers.
Yeah, that,
Yeah,
so
okay.
They're already on the,
But-
in Centerville, they're already on the bus together.
Okay.
But even here, the elementary is already with the middle school.
I'm gonna say
Really?
I'm at Sellersville, and my daughter's been with the middle school
Oh,
kids
sorry,
since
I'm
kindergarten, so.
ignorant about some of these
No,
things.
no.
I didn't realize. That's,
No, it's fine.
really
No, it's a
is.
good question.
What are those bus rides like?
I
Wow.
think it's a fair statement. That's why prior to our new board, we've already been having the conversation. A year ago, we were having the conversation so that the public understands, look, we're moving in this direction. Let's start asking questions and what is it gonna look like? What does it sound like? What does it look like? So that we can make it a nice transition where we're communicating with our community to
That's a-
say, hey,
that's a
this
big
is going
mix
to
of
happen
ages.
because of, obviously for various reasons it's happening for expansion, but we were, I don't know that it was as transparent when Sellersville moved to fifth grade. Because I know our president's not here right now, but I think her daughter was during that transition, and I don't think
I was
that
gonna
was
say
the same.
Shannon, I think that's why she got on the board, so I'd be
Yeah.
interested to hear what she,
So we're saying it up front, and we're gonna do all the planning possible to make sure that it's a smooth transition, and that I feel like at Sellersville, they're kind of in their own wing, and so that's what you plan on. You plan to, how do you kind of do a school within a school type of opportunity? Yeah.
And there's currently, the pre-K program at Centerville Elementary School is not currently running, or you just need.
It
to
is
be-
full day, there's 4 classrooms, but as we think about the blueprints calling us to continue to expand not only 4-year-olds, but also then bring in full day 3-year-olds,
There's just not the
there's
space.
just not gonna be.
what
the
about the
space.
unified arts classes? They just move on up, like the fifth graders? I don't know. There's just such a big difference between elementary and middle school that I just
They
feel
would
like
have a
even
s-
like the arts and the.
They would participate, just like Sothersville Middle School, in their own unified arts program.
Okay.
Just like, and I think we haven't got into design, and that's the next step, but I would imagine the design would likely be like a Sothersville Middle School, where the 5th grade is kind of, has a wing or a section.
Right, a school, developing a school within a school type
Right.
of concept.
The idea of kind of making a transition at a phase like this, when you're looking at a building project, is kind of the best time to do it, rather than we're forced to do it because of whatever the enrollment numbers are, because you can be very intentional about how you're designing your building to support, obviously, the different needs of the different ages of students.
Since it's a 50-50 split between local and state, once the feasibility study is complete, does the state have any say on whether, like, if the feasibility study says they're gonna build a whole new school, they're gonna renovate, they're gonna add on, do they have any say, or no, it's per our feasibility study?
They do play a part in they'll play a part in the review of the ed spec as well. I mean, they do review the document. In my career, I've not had the state come back and say, we disagree with the result of the feasibility study. The feasibility study will vet 4 options. They'll vet, the first option is doing nothing, and so that will be evaluated. And then another option is like painting the building and what that does for us. And then another option would be renovation and then replacement. So those are the big four categories that they're gonna look at. From a state perspective, typically what they're gonna be looking for is just making sure that all of them have been evaluated. And then they typically go with the LEA ones.
Thank you.
I just wanted to point out before we go on too, since, I did realize as we started, we haven't really brought this to the board since we had 3 new members as well. So going into this process, where I thank, these 2 gentlemen for their leadership in putting this together, it wasn't the 3 of us or any individual person building this document. We had an ed spec committee that we met throughout the fall and then the beginning of 2025. Developing this. It really includes most of the C&I supervisors, as well as Mr. Pender and some of his folks from operations, into what goes into the educational program here and what the needs of the building. And then Mr. Klein kind of brings it all together with Mr. Barraclough as well. So it was a group. I just want to make sure you all know it wasn't just the 3 of us sitting here.
And that group is actually noted on page 2, the prior page. And in addition to what Dr. Kibler mentioned is there were several members from the State Department of Education as well involved in that process. So they were engaged as well. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jeremy to kind of talk about through some of the square footages and spaces.
Yeah, so while Daryl's flipping there, he mentioned this as like a recipe for a cake, which is exactly what it is, right? So there's no pictures in here. This is narrative and numbers. It's qualitative and it's quantitative. That educational specification committee that worked through this, we have a series of, it was either 6 or 7 meetings. We would meet and we would focus on a specific area, whether it was fine arts, whether it was general classroom instruction, whether it was food service, right, and move around and focus on the different areas of the building. Those are chapters in the document that you see, different sections of the document. And all of that narrative is sort of the qualitative discussion. So these are what the spaces are trying to accomplish. This is the type of elements and things that should be included in the spaces. This is who they're designed for. These are the type of experiences we're trying to have in them. These are potential adjacencies. This area should be close to this area. It's not laying out the building yet, but it's telling whoever the future designer is, this is how the spaces should be laid out. These pages, 131 through 134, are where you get into the quantitative data. And this talks about the number of each of these specific spaces, how big each of these spaces are, and that gets at your kind of total number down the bottom. When we started working with the committee, and we do this from the jump, is we say you're starting new. Tell us in your ideal world what you would have in terms of your spaces to support, your particular area of instruction. Which is great, because that's how you really you try to get people outside of the box of, this is what I know, this is how Centerville Middle School is right now, so this is what I'm gonna go with. And you try to get people to talk about what it would be in an ideal scenario. Then you have to overlay the lens that we talked about right at the beginning, which this is how much the state is gonna fund based on an SRC, and it's gonna allocate a certain amount of square footage. So existing Centerville Middle School is just over 86,000 square feet. So Alexis, back to your original question about the 75%, right? That 86,000, the state is saying can support 659 students. So at 501, if you went in for funding, they would fund about 75% of that 86,000 square feet. You'd be looking at a smaller building. With bringing 5th grade over, that SRC number gets up close to what the state says the SRC is for the current building, or even slightly over. The total square footage that number yields is about 95,600 square feet of program space. We'll also be pursuing the state allocation for what's called cooperative use space. They'll allow an additional 3,000 square feet when you show a partnership with a community organization. In this case, that would be most likely allocated to the gymnasium area, and it would require a memorandum of understanding between Queen Anne's County Public Schools and Queen Anne's County Parks and Rec, for the use of that facility. And that gets you that extra 3,000 square feet. So with that, you end up just under 100,000 square feet that we believe the state will participate, in fully funding.
Do we do that cooperative use space at all the other schools? Like, is that?
It is something that every LEA that I've seen usually tries to take advantage of, because it's very easy to get a memorandum of understanding, because Parks and Rec is always using the gymnasium for after school or evenings or weekends or anything like that for their own programs. So it's an easy way to kind of get an additional 3,000 square feet that the state participates in. So
I don't know if it was, that the schools are certainly used that way. I don't know if when those projects were funded, that was pursued, but you would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the ed spec process, the next step in the planning process is the feasibility study. Feasibility study is currently underway. The study is evaluating the existing Centerville Middle School facility to determine if renovation is an option. The study will also explore a new facility and as requested by the previous board, it is evaluating the current central office building to determine if it can serve in the capacity as a middle school. The building committee will reconvene to discuss these options, and a suggestion will be made and presented to the board for consideration and approval. Once the feasibility study is approved, we can conduct a solicitation and interview and negotiation with an architectural firm. The firm will also be presented to the board for review and approval. So with that, we've kind of laid out the design process moving forward. That concludes our presentation, and any questions from the board?
How long does a feasibility study usually take on average?
It's going to vary. This one is kind of unique in that it's evaluating. It's fairly complicated. It's probably the most complicated feasibility study that I've done or been involved in, because it's involving the middle school at the middle school site. So it's reviewing that existing building, and it's reviewing that property for the potential of a new construction that would occur while that building was in operation, and then you'd basically flip the students into the new building and then tear the old building down, and that would become fields or parking lot or whatever would occur. It's also reviewing this building as the potential for a Centerville Middle School candidate, but it's also reviewing this building as a potential candidate for the CTE programs that are currently residing at Queen Anne's County High School. So the automotive, carpentry, all of those larger industrial type spaces, it's going to evaluate this facility as a candidate to kind of free up the backspace of Queen Anne's County High School and move those facilities here or whatnot.
Okay.
It seems like this would be a better location for the CTE programs than a middle school. I mean, not that I know any
Well, and
expert, but yeah.
But that's part of the process of going through the feasibility study and kind of illustrating that, and the proof is going to kind of come out in the probably 100 or so pages of feasibility study that gets generated.
Anybody else have any more questions? No? Can we get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve the June 1st, 2025 Centerville Middle School educational specifications.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have 5.13, the 2025-2026 Board of Education meeting schedule. Has everybody had a chance to review that on board docs? No?
No, sorry.
It doesn't matter, I approve it, it's fine.
But
All right. All right, any questions or, no, we're good? Can we get a motion?
Make a motion for the board to approve the 2025-26 Board of Education meeting schedule as presented.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody need to take a break, or should we keep on going? Keep
Go
going.
to keep going. I'm
Good?
to keep
Okay. Next up, we have our information items, and starting off is 7.01, Savas Experience Chemistry by Michael Page.
Mr. Page is under the weather tonight, so
Okay,
that was
sorry.
kind of a late ad.
Dr.
Sorry
Kibler.
about that. So I'm gonna try to do him justice tonight, if that's okay.
No problem.
So what we're bringing forward to you tonight is much like Ms. Passon did last month, presenting materials for the new middle school English curriculum. We're bringing forward for a 30-day review this Savas Experience Chemistry materials. This would be for our high school. So what Mr. Page has done over the past several months with 4 of our 6 high school chemistry teachers is have meetings after school, I believe, here at the board to review 3 different sets of materials, including a newer version of the older textbooks they had, to look at the best product moving forward for our high school chemistry. As you can see on the yellow sheet, the textbooks they were using were from 2012, so 13 years old. Unanimously, of the 4 teachers that participated, they are all recommending this product with the resources that are available to them. I'd like to thank Mr. Page and the teachers especially Everybody knows the budget constraints we're under, and the teachers really, really went through, and everything that was being offered in the contract, you know how the sales companies, they try to give you all the bells and whistles. And so they really went through and, you know, they had free reign to look and tell us what they thought they needed. And they were able to cut this contract basically as it was originally presented. And we can ask Mr. Page next month when he comes back for specific numbers, but I think they almost cut it in half for this 8-year contract for our high school chemistry courses, because there were things they just felt like they didn't need. They felt like they had some chemicals and sets in their schools already that they didn't necessarily need updated right now. So I just really thank them for their participation in this process. So I have the materials right here. If anybody would like to review after the meeting, they will be available here for the next 30 days. And Mr. Page will come back at our July meeting to seek approval to purchase this for next year.
And then the 8 years would be 53,508 for that
Per
8
year,
year.
or is that the whole time?
That is
That-
the whole time.
The whole time.
Wow.
That is what I'm saying. So when he first came to me about this in the fall, he was like, you know, we've been talking about this all school year. He was like, Matt, there's one passion project I have, like since I've been here, we've been using this chemistry curriculum forever. We continuously put it on the back burner. I just really would like to see this happen. So we've been talking all year, really challenged him to see what we can get, work with the companies, and this is what we came up with. So this is huge. A big win for Mr. Page, and I can't thank those teachers enough for what they did.
I just had a quick budget question. Didn't we take out the line item for textbooks? So we have to,
We did not take it out. So what we did was I had originally proposed putting an increase to the textbook
okay.
line.
All right.
So we didn't completely remove it.
okay. All right. So
Last year we had tried to put an increase in. We had to take it out.
Okay, sorry, I
No.
misunderstood. I remember you taking out the line item for textbooks, and I was like,
Yeah, it was
did we
all.
take out all the textbook money? Okay.
Yeah, it was
Sorry, I
all, it
understand.
was all in the increases. And so when I said earlier with Ms. Passon, we really had the supervisors working with teachers and looking at, hey, we have some resources. Are we really using all of these resources? Are there a way we want to go away for a year? And that's what's created the opportunity to do like new projects like this. Make sure we're spending the money that we have as best we can.
That's great. Hopefully it goes through review fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Matt Evans, 7.02, the second read of policy 502, administering medication to students.
Good evening, Vice President Capes, Dr. Salins, members of the board, executive team. Congratulations, Dr. Kibler. Before you tonight are 5 policies for a second read. In all cases, there have been no public comments since the first read. I do have them. Our first one is, my apologies. Administering medication to students, policy number 502. This was a complete rewrite of the 1993 policy. Do you have any questions? So now these are backwards on me.
Catch up, 7.03, policy 513, education of homeless students.
Yes, so this policy complies with the updates to the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act and has been reviewed by the MSDE Homeless Education State Coordinator. This is also a complete rewrite of the 2010 policy. Do you have any questions?
No. 7.04, second read of policy 516, home and hospital teaching.
This includes basic updates to the policy from 2011, and you can see the new additions in red and the deletions in a strike through. Any questions?
Nope. 7.05, second read of policy 535, student registered sex offenders entry on school property.
This is a new policy that follows the MSDE model policy and includes recent updates from April 2024 that prohibits juveniles on the sex offender registry from attending public or non-public elementary or secondary schools in person. Any questions?
I just wish there was more about notifying making sure the teachers and parents were somehow notified. I guess I don't quite understand how the policy updates work. Like if I wanted to change to a policy or the public, I don't know how any of this works. So if somebody wanted to change, how do you go about doing that, like in general?
Change to the policy?
Yes.
Anybody in the community, yourselves included, administration can initiate, they would just let us know that they want us to take a look at it, and that would go through the policy on policies, basically, and we can do a review. Otherwise, it's supposed to be at least a 4-year, and that's what Mr. Evans, we're trying to get caught up with all of our policies.
Okay.
But yeah, if there's something, even if this goes through and voted on next month, and
Okay.
somebody says, oh no, we got to make a change to that language, we can bring something right back the next month.
Okay.
Were the
If you have any
concerns you
comments,
had?
let them-
I guess I feel like there should be something in there about notifying, making sure teachers are notified and the staff are notified. I realize you can't tell the parents, but I think all of us parents would just feel better if there was a registered sex offender that was coming back to school to know that that people were notified and the staff was.
I'm happy to look and see within the legal guidelines what we are allowed to disclose. And again, this was really written based on the state's model policy, but I'm happy to look into it.
Thank you.
We have 7.06, second read of policy 536, student telehealth.
This is also a new policy. It complies with the mandate established under Maryland Education Article 4-143 that was enacted through House Bill 522 during the 2024 legislative session. We currently have telehealth happening in our schools, and this ultimately complies with the new mandate.
Is the telehealth outside, or is it what we're using inside? For like
So-
Chop Tank, who are we
So
talking about
Chop
when
Tank
we say-
does have telehealth. We also have Hazel Health, which the person could be in, actually, they are in Maryland, but it's completely virtual. We do have a staff member that is supporting the students that is receiving the telehealth, should anything happen, but the person is not in our building. That's providing therapy or the session.
Okay. Thank you.
But the students receiving the services are in our building, so we provide a safe space for them.
Okay.
And what,
Right.
just like you said, in a staff member, so even if they're doing it 100% on the computer, they're still having support within the building.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions?
I think you're done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody like to give public comment? No? Going once, going twice? Okay. So future meetings, our next budget work session will be June 18th, 2025 at 5 p.m. And then July 2nd of 2025 will be a regular scheduled board meeting at 6 p.m. Any questions on anything? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn the June 4th, 2025 open session at 7:23 p.m.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.